Hi and welcome back. In today's video, we will be discussing the requirements for entry into the diversity visa program. Now, there are a couple of requirements as it relates to entering the diversity visa program. Two of those requirements have always been around. A third was added just a couple of years ago, and in this video, we will be walking through the three requirements as it relates to entering the diversity visa program. The first requirement is you have to be from a country that is currently eligible. Now, when we say currently eligible, it means for the year in question, that country must be eligible. And what happens is that a few days to a couple of weeks before the diversity visa lottery begins, the State Department releases the list of countries that are not eligible for that specific diversity visa program. So by consulting that list, you will get to know the countries that are not eligible, and if your country is not a part of them, it means that you are eligible when it comes to the first requirement. We covered this first requirement in our last video, so if you would like to have detailed information regarding this first requirement for entry into the diversity visa program, just refer to our last video. Now, the second requirement has to do with education or work experience. In order to be eligible for the diversity visa program, you also have to meet education or work experience criterion. Now, when it comes to education, you must have completed high school or secondary school, as it is called in some countries. Now, in the United States, that corresponds to successfully completing 12 years of studies at both the primary and secondary levels. But the duration is not the same in all countries. In some countries, you may achieve that at a faster pace, and in other countries, it may take you a longer time to achieve what is achievable in the United States in 12 years. Now, to understand this reality of completing secondary school or high school, we can just say that once you have reached a level of education that allows you to normally be admitted into a university, then you are eligible for the diversity visa program when it comes to the education criteria. Now, not everyone has that level of education, so for those who do not possess that level of education, you can also be eligible by means of your work experience. And what the instructions say is that you must have worked for 2 years during the last 5 years in an occupation that requires at least 2 years of training or experience in order for you to perform. Now, the question that comes from that is, what are the occupations that are concerned? Now, the State Department uses the Department of Labor online database to determine those occupations. So what I'm going to do in the description, I'm going to put the link to the Department of Labor Occupation online database. You can click that link, access that website, and use it to determine whether your occupation is one of those that are acceptable. And don't forget, I said at the beginning that you must have worked for 2 years during the last 5 years in one of the occupations that you will find on that website. So use that website to determine whether your occupation is one that is acceptable when it comes to entering the diversity visa program. And finally, our third requirement, which was just introduced a couple of years ago, has to do with the passport. This requirement says that in order to participate in the diversity visa program, you must be in possession of a valid, non-expired or unexpired passport. Now, when we say valid passport, it has to be issued by some authority, notably a country. A country has to issue you that passport, and it must not be restricted to a certain geographic location or region. It must be a passport that is acceptable to travel around the world. So once you have such a passport, it is a valid passport, and also it must not be expired. Once your passport is not expired, you are allowed to enter the diversity visa lottery, even if it is just one day to the date of expiration of your passport. You can still enter the diversity visa lottery. It is not against the rule. Now, we usually receive questions. People ask whether they can enter with a passport that will expire sometime in October or November. Now, to answer such a question, I will refer us back to the instructions. The instruction says as long as the passport is not expired, you can use it. So, for example, if your passport will expire on October 25th, you have up to October 24th to enter the diversity visa lottery. Anytime after October 24th, that is beginning on the 25th, the date on which your passport will expire, you become ineligible for the diversity visa program. Now, to conclude, I must say that these three requirements that we just discussed must all be met together in order for you to be eligible. You must be from a country that is currently eligible. You must also meet the education or work experience criterion. And in addition to those two, you must have a passport that is unexpired and valid. Once you meet all of those three requirements, you are eligible for the diversity visa program. Now that brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching it. I hope it helps you as you endeavor to be a part of this year's diversity visa program. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.